When I go in the ring, I'm scared. I get really scared before a fight. I occasionally suffer from horrible thoughts, like to the point of suicidal thoughts. When I get those moments, it makes me have a proper reason why am I doing this.
Tommy Cleary, a 24-year-old entrepreneur who's battled bullying, stigma, depression, and dark moments that almost broke him. Today, he's the go-to hotel guy in property, running a deal sourcing company, owning and scaling hotel businesses with no money down deals, and building serious cash flow. Through raw mindset work, faith, and refusing to quit, Tommy turned his lowest points into his greatest fuel. And he's here to show you how to do the same and become self-unemployed.
Do you know how some people say, fake it till you make it? Sometimes I pretend to be happy. Someone asks me, how are you doing? I say, yeah, I'm living the dream, Sometimes it's true, other times it's like I'm just hiding what's happening.
So Tommy, tell us about, everyone on the Academy knows who you are, but for those who aren't on the Academy, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. And
So I'm 24. I run a locksmith company based out of Slough. Mm-hmm. I do a deal sourcing company as well, based in the UK, now expanded to Dubai. Mm-hmm. Of course, property deal sourcing and business deal sourcing. And I focus from my own cash flow is buying and running hotel businesses.
Right. And yeah, I remember recently, I think you were saying that you're going to that you've recently decided to specialize more on the hotels rather than smaller Airbnb properties. Is that right?
Yeah. There was too many people going for all these small properties where hotels, people were thinking, oh, that's scary. Oh, I wouldn't know how to do that. They don't do training for it just yet. So I was looking for a bit of a niche where before I was going for smaller properties, rent-to-rents, BRRs, whatever I could get my hands on. But the more I did that, the more I realized that if I'm going for every single strategy in property, people are not going to know me as, like, for example, a particular project, just going to say, oh, he's just a deal sourcer, instead of saying, Tommy's the hotel guy if you want to talk to him.
Yeah, I'm the podcast guy.
Yeah, you're the podcast guy.
Yeah, and we have chatted a little bit because we were both involved with the boxing. We both go to Sunday Social.
Yeah.
And you've kind of like not started that, but you were there from the beginning, right?
Oh yeah, like who would say no to a free boxing membership when you were paying £75 a month beforehand? So
£75 a month.
I was paying
go to
£75.
boxing.
Yep. I had a coach. I had everything. Great coach. Nothing wrong with the gym. It's just I decided to leave boxing to join the academy. Oh. And as soon as I joined the academy, Samuel says, "We're doing boxing. Come on down." I was like, I just gave that up.
So right, but it was almost like fate then, because
it was just
you
fate.
thought you were leaving
I couldn't walk away.
Yeah.
I couldn't walk away from it, no matter how hard I tried.
Yeah.
Stop boxing just to get my finances in the right place. To then all of a sudden get my finances in the right place, but also getting back into boxing at the same time.
Yeah. One of the key things to understand about building wealth is that money is a form of wealth, but it's not a very good one because it's falling in value due to inflation. The target is for 2% inflation. Recently, it's been much higher. So even in a good year, money is losing its value. So wealthy people do not have lots of money. What they do have is assets. Stocks, silver and gold, even crypto are assets that will go up as the value of money falls. And one of the best assets to invest in is property. It's extremely difficult to build wealth by trading your time for money in a regular job like most people do. But we're not like other people. You'll have seen how many of my guests are using various strategies to build their wealth through property. People like Albert and Chris doing a strategy called BRR. John using a creative way to finance investments without any of his own money. Yolanda, who's doing amazing things in social housing. Shannon and Jag are making money from property they don't even own with rent-to-rent and serviced accommodation. And other guests like Elijah and 17-year-old Kane are making money just by finding good deals and selling them on. All of these guests have learned these strategies from Samuel Leeds and his Property Investors Academy. So if you're interested in building your wealth through property, even if you don't have money to invest, Samuel is running a free webinar where you can learn more about all of these strategies. There's a link in the description to sign up, and it's free, so you've got nothing to lose. There's so much more to the Academy than just the training, and I don't have time to go into all of it now, but this free webinar is a great first step. So you've been into boxing for a long time,
Yeah.
before you joined the academy and stuff. How has that sort of helped your mindset? How does it make you think differently?
Well, it's like anything really. At first, you don't know what you're doing. You are looking for a direction, right? You have faith in your coach, or you have faith in what you're doing. Like for example, when we're in the academy, we have faith in Samuel and his training. Same thing with boxing. You have faith in your coach, and then eventually you get faith in your ability to box. But the real mindset is, like for me, when I go in the ring, I'm scared. I'm not gonna swear. I almost swore now, but I get really scared before a fight, like to the point where I can't eat. I want to run home as quick as possible. I want to cancel the fight. But the closer I get to the ring, the more confident I get. And when I'm in the ring, all that fear dissipates and it's gone. And when I had my first fight, I was scared. But then when I got in the ring, I remember I had a great time. And that's what I try to think about. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm about to get beaten up, I'm thinking about how much of a great feeling it's going to be after the fight's done.
Yeah.
So,
but you got to get through it.
Yeah. So back to what my mindset was on that would be, instead of thinking about the scary stuff, I was thinking about what happens afterwards. Like after I've done what I intended to do, and the reward from doing that, which in some cases was coming out with the win.
But what about, because you've had several fights, right, in various different contexts.
Yeah.
So, and you haven't won them all, or have you?
I lost one.
Right. So how is that different? Because I've never lost a fight. I've only had one. So I don't know what that's like. But no, I mean, there must be, but I imagine, because going into the fight, it was weird. I didn't feel nervous at all. I did work a lot on my mindset and things. And to me, I didn't allow myself through the months beforehand to even imagine that I might lose. So it was like winning was the only option in my mind.
Yeah.
In reality, it was a real option I could have lost, but luckily I didn't. But having done that, and that if I had lost, it probably would have been devastating in a way to me.
The first fight I ever fought, I lost.
Right.
The guy had experience, I had no experience. He was heavier, he was taller, he had everything that was a lot better than me.
Right.
Like he had experience, he had height advantage, he had reach advantage, he had weight advantage, he had experience, he had everything. But what made me come back into the ring after losing, it wasn't the fact of losing the fight, it was the fact that I gave it my all.
Yes.
But the fact that I didn't win didn't matter. It was the fact that I kept going. And again,
did it go the distance? Or
it
was
went
it
the distance. I didn't get knocked out. It went the distance. I landed more punches as well. It's just I also took a lot more punches. My guard was all over the place. I seen what I did wrong. And again, you don't always need to win a fight. You just need to, like, for example, you just need to learn from your mistakes, right? You're not always going to have success in everything, right? But you can learn from your failures and move on.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with that fight. And I'm not scared, like, for example, before I get to the event, I'm actually scared on fight day when I'm inside, like walking up to the ring. So it's like anything. You just need to, like, if you lose at something or you fail at something, you just need to shake it off, keep going, because the only time you actually fail at something completely, like say, if I was to quit boxing after that, I would have been a failed boxer.
That's a fail, yeah.
But then I carried on. I won the next two fights, and then I won the third fight, and then the other fights were just non-decisions. So like it was like fights that there's no winner or loser, even if you knock out anyone or
like
you
sparring.
dominate. Yeah, it's in between sparring and fights. It's like the stage in between.
And there's something that simultaneously that I really admire about you, but also find slightly annoying. It's like your confidence. You always seem really, really confident, and you're putting yourself out there. You've got no shame about putting yourself out there. You're always taking your shirt off. Is that how you feel?
I heard a saying before: have so much confidence, and until the point of insanity. So you have to have as much confidence as you can as possible that people think you're insane. Now, it was not all confidence as well. For
That's what
example,
I'm trying to get underneath that.
Yeah,
Because
we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. You have confidence to the point of like insanity, but it doesn't come from just anywhere. You need a proper, strong reason for why.
So it is something you've thought about and worked on.
Yeah.
As a mindset, it's not like you're just naturally that way.
No. It's definitely something I worked on. So I did go through a hard period. I wasn't always confident. Again, I'm not always confident. There's times I get a low moment, and there's times I get really high moments. For me, it's not really ever in between. It's either I'm really low or really high. And it can be of a sudden notice. Like, I don't know if you noticed when we were like in the desert, had a really high moment, and then immediately I went straight down to the bottom end, and then I went back up again. I couldn't find a setting in between.
But I didn't notice that. But probably because when you're on the low moments, you don't stand out, and
I keep
only
myself.
see you when you're on the high. So that's people think you're always like that.
For me, it's like I occasionally suffer from like horrible thoughts, like to the point of like suicidal thoughts sometimes. And when I get those moments, as you can say, it makes me have a proper reason why am I doing this. So for example, let's say I have a really bad moment.
Like even now you get those.
Oh yeah, it doesn't ever go away. You just need a real good reason to keep going. Sorry.
No, it's cool, man. If you need to take some time.
So there's times where, let's say a deal doesn't go through, as stupid as that, or for example, you don't see anything going right. Like let's say like for example, we're in property, we sell a bunch of opportunities. You see they're good, and someone else doesn't see your vision or whatever else. You see, is it really worth it? And then let's say, for example, you can't pay for the things you want, you can't live the way you want. You see everyone living their lives on social media. Then you're thinking, they can do that. Why can't I? Why is it not working for me? And when I get those moments, I try to switch it around because I don't like to go down that rabbit hole. And then that's where I have my friends. I call my friends whenever I'm in that moment because they always ask me, if you ever feel like that, give me a call. I'll call them. If I can't get through to them, I'll probably lay in bed for a couple of days and not talk to anyone. And it's all of a sudden, I don't know what causes it, it's just all of a sudden. But then when I realized my real reason why I'm doing this, and the fact that I actually want to live my life and not just, let's say, end it all. It's, so for example, let's say I'm not living life now, but I want to live life. So if I want to live my life, I've got a perfect girlfriend, I've got a perfect family, I've got perfect friends. I've got the opportunity to get myself in the right place. So for me, it's like, okay, fine. If I want that, no one's going to help me. I have to do it myself. And that's why, for example, when I was in Dubai, I was going to every single developer. I was working really hard to the point where I'm going into these big, massive developers, and normally in normal circumstances, I don't belong there. Because again, I'm a deal sourcer. I'm not exactly buying all these opportunities. Sometimes I would want to buy some, which I can. I've raised finance before.
Is it like an imposter syndrome kind of
yes,
thing?
100% imposter syndrome. So for example, when I've been guest speaker, I feel like imposter syndrome.
Yes.
And I try to get a proper reason why. So for example, I want to live my life because I can't live like this anymore. Physically, I hit a breaking point. I can't live like this anymore. I need to make a change. And that's where, for example, you'll probably see me on social media, posting everywhere. You see me working everywhere. You see me go to networking meetings everywhere. And next minute, I've got a hotel because I worked hard that week, just for a week. So for example, Samuel's Financial Freedom Challenges. I'll use those to give me the drive and go for it. And let's say if I'm hitting a really dark moment, I'll say a prayer. It helps me a lot because it's having a belief in something bigger than me. Like for example, like God, for example, for me. Some people they might have their own reason. For me, it's I have God there and everything else.
So you're Catholic, right?
Yes. And if you have faith in something and you have a vision to where you want to go, and you have the drive to do that, there shouldn't be anything stopping you. And that's when I hit that breaking point, I get everything lines up. So then I get a hotel deal, or I sell a big opportunity. I raise finance. Like for example, I raised finance for a hotel recently. It was no money down for me. Then I was getting another one. And then I also had another one in principle, just from 1 week's hard work.
Yeah.
So pretty much it's just all about when you really feel down there, don't be afraid to ask for help. Also, you need to believe in something bigger than yourself, and you have to have a vision and a strong reason why to get there. That's what I would say it'd be.
Yeah, no, this is amazing, because thank you for your sort of vulnerability, because you're sort of showing a side that people that know you, I've never seen you and I know you mentioned that you'd had some mental health issues, and that's why I thought it'd be interesting to talk about that if you were willing. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's a constant struggle. It's not in your past.
No. No, it's not. There's times I feel great, but I also put a strong face on, because if you're complaining the whole time, no one's going to be around you. But if you're positive, then, do you know how some people say, fake it till you make it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I pretend to be happy, and then eventually I'll get there. Start to feel happy. For me, it's like, okay, someone asks me, how are you doing? I say, yeah, I'm living the dream, Sometimes it's true. Other times it's like I'm just hiding what's happening. And then maybe a couple hours or a day later, I feel great again.
Yeah. I do think that, like you were saying about our why, is super important. We need to have, and to sort of stay motivated, to not procrastinate, we need to have that installed in us deeply, our why. We need to know why we're doing things, and like you said, though, sometimes things go wrong. It's difficult to see through all the problems to the why, to the reason we're doing things. And that's why I find the Academy so helpful with things like the inner circle events, because once you get in a room with people on that same wavelength who understand what we're trying to do, which is different to normal people, they don't get it. It's super helpful. You come out of the inner circle event, or at least I do, and I'm just like, yeah, there's some problems, but all I've got to do is take some action. But now I remember why I'm doing this. And
yes.
But if I didn't have that, it would be so hard. So,
it used to be like that for me. The first 9 months of the Academy was like that. So when I joined the Academy, I had this strong reason why, which I told you. I forgot about that reason. 9 months later, I then got it again. And then all of a sudden, I saw a bunch of opportunities. I started working hard. Like, one thing that did help in my mindset, which I'm now starting to use, is things that are out of your control, you need to stop worrying about.
Yes.
Because if you're spending all this time worrying about something, like, for example, if a deal falls through or whatever else, like, for example, a deal fell through just after I came to Dubai. To be honest, I was like, that's absolutely fine. Even though it was annoying.
It happens.
It happens. And that's helped a lot, because before it'd be the end of the world.
That is what Stoicism, they call that?
Have
you heard about it?
I have no idea.
Stoicism is basically like what you just said. Don't worry about the things you can't control, and worry about the things you can control.
Yeah.
And it's a way of sort of cutting yourself off from worrying about stuff that we shouldn't worry about.
Exactly.
So it's interesting. I'm learning a lot about you that we didn't really know before.
Another thing not many people know about me would be I'm actually from the traveller.
Oh, really?
I'm from a traveller background. So it's one thing I've kept quiet. I've told people individually here and there, but I didn't open up about it. And the main reason why I think I haven't opened up about it was I wanted people to get to know me for who I am first, before they think, he's a traveller, don't invest with him.
So when you say that, just for people who don't know, what you mean, like, and I'm very ignorant about this, do you mean like you're from a gypsy background, or what was that? Is that derogatory? Sorry if it is.
So as far as I'm aware, the traveller is more like of like Irish background, you're from there and everything else. Gypsy could be English gypsy, it could be Romanian gypsy, all these type of things. Again, it could be slightly different. I'm not too sure what the actual translation is, but from my understanding, it is like you're from the Irish background, you're a traveller, this, that, the other. Yeah.
So it's a similar.
It's very similar. Maybe just a different area type of thing.
Yeah.
Or a different culture. It could be slightly different culture as well.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Now, most people think, that's just what you do, right? You just travel. That makes you a traveller. No. So it's actually.
It's like an ethnic.
Yeah, it's like it's a lifestyle. It's a mindset. So we are very old-fashioned, you could say. So, for example, it is mainly male-orientated. Like, for example,
traditional,
old-fashioned, you could say.
gender roles.
Yeah, like the women in the traveler society, traveler background, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Mainly, they live life to one day get married and have kids and live without working. Where some of them do work, most of them don't.
Yeah.
Where the men is meant to be the main breadwinner, and they'll bring in all the income into the family. They'll be out working.
So when you say that, you're obviously not living in a caravan and moving around the country. And
I never lived in a caravan. I've
So
actually lived in a house my whole life.
Yeah, but you've got that culture.
Yes,
is part of.
I've got the culture. So for example, normally it's like back to Catholic values near enough. So like no sex before marriage. You're meant to stick to it. Of course, guys don't. But if the girls don't stick to it, it's meant to be. It can be really bad in some cases. It's like men in general.
I mean, there's a lot of stigma attached.
There's a lot of stigma, and men in general can be really bad from any culture. But it's like any culture. Like travelers are more open about it. They'll say the truth, but most men, as you know, can be terrible. Some are great, some are bad. But travelers are more open about it. Like
you're talking like about promiscuity kind of.
So like again, men can be like, for example, say whatever they want to get what they want.
Right.
And I know some bad travelers that have done some things that I would not support at all. But then again, I've seen normal people. So what travelers call normal people is country people. So people of the country. Country people, yeah. So it's like the nickname.
Travelers call
anyone else who's not a traveler
country people.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know why that they.
That's not so bad.
It's not so bad.
I can take that.
I think it's as simple as people of the country.
Yeah.
And again, the reason why I didn't open up about it until now, I think I have strong enough branding and strong enough mindset now that I can open up about it and say, yeah. I'm a traveler, because before I wouldn't open up about it. I'd let people like get to know me as a person due to the bad stigma that comes with being a traveler. So most people think, oh wait, you're a pikey, or oh, you're a knacker. That's another thing. So when people say that, they don't really know what it means, or some people do, and they still say it.
Yeah.
And they'll say, like, what's the phrase? They'll say unfavorable words alongside that. But what people don't realize is when you're saying pikey and knacker, you need to think, what are those things? Well, pikey is like pike. It's like a fish that eats its own young. It's filthy. It's disgusting. It's vile. And essentially, you're associating that word to a people, travelers. You're saying we're the most disgusting thing in society. You are vile. But most people.
So the word pikey has always been derogatory against travelers.
Yes, but it's become so well known now that it's like people don't even know what it means anymore.
Yeah. So they don't know how offensive it is.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Whereas a word like gypsy is sometimes used in a derogatory way, but isn't that actually what they call themselves?
It depends. It depends. Like gypsy's not as bad. Like I think gypsy's fine.
Because it's just a guy calls himself the Gypsy King.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's just a label.
Yeah.
But the things like pikey, knacker, like knacker is like it's like, for example, a horse going to slaughter because it's knackered. It's no good for anything else but the meat. So it's like saying you're associating like travelers as you're no good for anything. You're not even worth being alive. So you can see my point where those two words can be really bad. Hence why I was so, like, when I was growing up, I was so afraid to even tell people I was a traveler. Like, because it's kind of strange for me to hear you say that you are a traveler because you don't travel anymore. You know, it's just, but it's kind of like you're a multicultural person, and that is a culture which you're obviously proud of it because you're holding on to it. It's part of your identity. It is part of my identity.
But then you're also worried about the stigma.
Because it can affect someone's business. Like, let's face it. Most people on this podcast, I'm probably going to get some hate about this. Most people on this podcast who see this are going to say, oh, he's a traveler, keep away from him. Well, the reason why I didn't mention it in the beginning is because I want people to get to know me for who I am. What value can I bring? Know me as a person and a businessman before you judge me based on my background and where I've come from.
Yeah.
Because let's face it.
But you know what? I think you might be overthinking things because
Maybe.
people don't know your background when you go to do business with them and things. So why would maybe they're not judging you as much as you
I've lost work before. When I was doing my paving business, I had a paving business back in the day. I lost a lot of work as soon as people found out, he's a traveller. We're not going to use him. Or even when they find out I'm a locksmith, like, I'm then a traveller inside my house. I've had people, I even heard them in the background. Again, it's something I've had to face, but now I've gotten to a point where if you don't like me for who I am and what I am, then there's a door.
Yeah.
For me, I try my best to help out people. I try to give value back. I try to be honest where I can. I try to be honest the whole time. I put my best foot forward, like anyone else. But for me, it was like, where people in the academy or outside the academy, they're thinking, oh, I haven't got anything going for me and whatever else. For me, I felt like I was in the negative. I was like in the point where no one's going to want to do business with me because of my background. Because there's such a bad stigma with being a traveller. So it's like I had to work twice as hard to get to where I am and where I want to go. So that's where I had to overcome that.
You know, earlier on when we were talking about the mental health challenges you've had, could that be related to how you've had this thing that you want to keep a secret?
I mean, I wouldn't say that. I mean, probably the reason why I had the mental health issues is because I was getting bullied for being a traveller when I was a kid.
Right.
Hence why I wanted to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would fight bullies, I would bully my friends, but I never stuck up for myself.
And even if you fight them off, you still feel oppressed.
I got punished for fighting them off. I even got bullied by my teachers, not for being a traveller as such, but they were. I don't know what it was, but they weren't really. Not all my teachers were the best to me. Like there's times where I was getting, like there's times in school I was working while I was in school. I worked from a young age. I was working from the age of 11, like doing gardening, doing everything, building my way up. I've done delivery driving. I've done like IKEA work. I've done tire fitting on lorries out on the road. I've done anything I could to make a living. But being from the background I'm in, I had to, for me, it was like I couldn't tell people what background I was from. Like, for instance, me being a Catholic, and being a traveller, I was working at a certain tire fitter company. I'm not going to name the company. Of course, I don't like to slander people, but I will say what they did. Now, I was the youngest person at that company in this branch. And they'll all be using me. They all older fellas, like minimum 30. No, the youngest one was 26. I was like maybe 20. And then there was some guys that were 30, some was 40, 50, 60 onwards. And these tires are about a minimum 40 kilo each. And they're on stacks of maybe 10, 20. I'll go up in stacks, throw them down, help them out. But there's times I've got them out, talked about me. And when I left, do you know what type of calls I got? I set my own locksmith company at that time. I was thinking, I want to do this. They're not going to raise my pay. I want to do this. The first few calls I got was from people saying, I got kids locked in the basement. Can you come help me? Because of course they're saying, because the traveller mindset, or if not, it'd be about the Catholic. They've called me up, giving me prank calls, and trying to like get under my skin. Yeah. I've had to deal with a lot of things.
Bullying.
Yeah, bullying. Like even in like by grown men. Yeah. Like again, don't get me wrong. It's not all excuses. Like these are just things I faced and I've overcome. And now I feel like I'm strong enough to say out in the open, I'm a traveller. If you don't like me, so what? Like you're only one person.
And I think, I'm really honoured that I didn't know that about you. I don't think anyone's on the academy that I know of.
I did it on purpose. Well, like Samuel said, he was saying that,
I'm honoured that you're choosing to share that now on this podcast.
I'm an open book.
And I hope that that's to help you on your journey to, overcoming that trauma, I suppose, that you've gone through. Yeah.
Well, on top of that, you can imagine Samuel didn't even know. And he was saying, he's Irish, but he's never been to Ireland. I think now he's going to put two and two together now.
He's sort of, I remember him sort of joking that it sounds like you got a bit of an Irish accent, but you're not Irish. But I guess that's, it's the traveller in you.
It's where I grew up. I grew up around travellers, hence why I caught an accent. In secondary school, I did go to secondary school as well. I did have a full-on English accent, would you believe it? And when I left, I was working full time with my family business that I set up, and of course friends and cousins, things like that. Of course, I'll hang around my own, so I caught an accent. And being from that background of being a traveller, I learned a lot of things, but I haven't hung around my own kind, you could say, or travellers since I've joined the academy, you could say.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean,
apart from your immediate family.
Yeah. Here and there, I don't even see them often. I do not even see them often. And it's again, being around this mindset, being around the academy, being around people like yourself.
It's such a diverse group. But and this is what I was talking to Samuel about this today on my episode with him, and how, you know, there's black, white, gay, straight, old, young, old, trans, but it never really comes up. It's because we've all got this other thing in common, which is far more important.
Yeah.
And it's a common culture, you know, so those differences don't matter. That you can't divide us because we've got a commonality. And within that we have this security, as in mentally, that we could give each other a bit of banter about those things, and I think that there is that, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit of banter. Yeah, banter's good. Like
Samuel gets away with stuff, you know, doing African accents and stuff because he's married to a black woman.
Yeah,
you know, and so.
But I mean, like, if you don't mean any harm,
no,
it's fine.
Yeah.
But it's the people that actually blatantly try to slander you or slander your name or whatever else.
Yeah.
That's different. Like, for example, if someone was to have a wind up me, it's fine. Like, you don't mean it in a bad way. Sometimes people do say the word pike, but they do it in a wind up. They don't mean it in a bad way because they don't know what it means. They don't realize how bad it is. But they're just having a wind up. That's fine. If you're going to say, you pikey this, that, the other. Or, for example, again, if you say it to a black man, say the N-word, for example, you say it in a really bad way. Yeah, it's not going to look good, is it? Like,
yeah, I mean, with that word, even if you say it in a,
you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no matter what
you shouldn't be treating someone different because of their skin, because of their culture, or anything.
No,
you shouldn't be treating them in a bad way. You should be just treat them all equally, right? And again, for me, it's like I feel comfortable enough to actually say it now out in the open because I made enough friends on the academy. To be comfortable saying that.
I think it's good. No, I think it's gonna be good. I think it'll probably be a weight off your mind.
It definitely was. I tell you that. I feel a bit lighter, you know. Get a bit of massage in a minute now.
So I mean, so now has being part of the academy, because it's almost like a family. It's a great sort of support network. Is that helping?
There's times where, like, I make my biggest friends on the academy. To be honest, I don't think I can think of many friends that are not on the academy. Most of them are or used to be. To be honest, it's really helped. Don't get me wrong, I've come across some like bad people, of course, in the academy, for example, or used to be in the academy. They're no longer there.
And you got to remember as well, like, you know, especially when it's something like deal sourcing and stuff that we do and things, even good deal sources sell bad deals sometimes.
Occasionally.
Because that doesn't always go to plan.
Yeah.
And you might think, they ripped me off or something. But no, you've got to give them a chance to redeem themselves, because a good deal sourcer will. Well, I think
I'll be
a good
very
business
honest with you.
person will.
I sold, so this is my ratio right now. I must have sold about 30 deals. I think 3 of those deals didn't pan out to the way they were meant to be, and they weren't my deals. They were just co-sourced. They were other people's deals that I co-sourced. Again, if it was again, I wouldn't have trusted the credibility of the person, and I would have blatantly gone through it. This is when I first started deal sourcing.
Yeah.
So, for example, it depends on I need to check how many opportunities, but I'll say maybe 30 or 40. I need to double check. It's been a while because I did take a massive break from deal sourcing. Because again, I started selling last year around January, February time, and then business dipped because I didn't advertise anymore. I just thought my ego got in the way of it. Plus, also I got a girlfriend, so I haven't had a girlfriend in a long time, or a serious one. And so I must have sold more deals, but again, not every single deal is going to go ahead. You have to keep getting a lot of deals in the pipeline.
Yeah.
And I think out of all the deals I've sold, 3 did not pan out the way I planned out to be. And that was due to me, of course, being new to deal sourcing and trusting completely in the service, where I should have done everything, like went through everything at the time. So I should have went through all the due diligence. I shouldn't have just went off the credibility of certain deal sources. I'm not naming names. But like, for example, if they knew a certain patch and they were the only person I knew in that patch, or if they the only one who knew that strategy, or the only, like anything. If it was again, I wouldn't have sold certain deals, or I would have done a bit more homework, because again, I was going off their numbers, because they took me under their wing, you could say.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So they were giving you the deal and you were selling to one of your investors?
Yes, the investors I built trust with.
Yeah.
But I still hold strong relationships with those investors. It's just, in order for me to help them out, I need to get myself in a position where I can help them out. So for example, I'm investing myself now. Again, my plan is those investors, I can't promise it, but my plan is whenever they were out, I'll give them their money back, or at least a good chunk of it back. Because for me, they were like rent-to-rent deals, but rent-to-rents are more risky because it's businesses. And they're not, so one deal, it looked like good, numbers look good, but then the investor wanted management. And after getting a bit more experience, I wouldn't do a rent-to-rent deal under management. And also, if someone was to do management on it, I tell them, look, think of it as you're hiring staff. You still have to keep on top of them and make sure they're doing their work, because they get paid regardless, and it's coming out of your pocket like a business. So you have to make sure they do their work so you can get paid. I tell it to any person who's asking me about management and things like that. And also another thing I'm trying to negotiate for all my clients, if they ever do want management, instead of percentage of turnover, I want to do percentage of profit. It's less appealing for management companies. Yeah. But
at least it aligns the incentives.
Yes, but also think about it, it's like a joint venture as well. If you think about it, if you get the right management company, let's say you do, for example, worst case, like 50% of profits. It's like a joint venture.
Yeah.
Well, if they are a reputable. We'll stick with that one. I can't pronounce it. I mean, they should be a bit flexible for the particular deal to see how they can help the client. Some will stick to a certain amount, that's fine, because they're already established, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
But for me, if I'm the way I recommend anyone I'm gonna work with is percentage of profit. If they're just gonna go, no, we're gonna do turnover, I don't tend to recommend them unless they have a really good reputation. Sometimes I'll give a management company who's new to the business the benefit of the doubt, but I'll tell the client to be wary, keep an eye on them. They're like staff. You need to manage them like as if you're their boss. And so yeah, that's what I do nowadays. After learning from those experiences, I also I'll go.
So you feel like you're much less likely. Are you getting less of those deals that don't work out because
I haven't had one since.
Yeah,
I haven't had one since that's failed.
There was something interesting you said as well. You touched on pipeline.
Yeah.
And which is something we talk about in property, but actually, and deal sources and stuff. But I think it's really applicable to everything, or lots of things at least. And it's the idea that, because I know that I was like looking for a BRR deal, and I found a good one, and and then I stopped looking, and I put an offer in, and I stopped looking. I didn't keep my pipeline. And then it didn't go through. It got rejected. So then, this is a long time ago, and it was super disheartening. Yeah. You know, because that was everything.
Because you set your hopes on the one deal, and it just got dragged away from you.
I think it's so natural to do that.
It is natural.
And it's really difficult to sort of keep looking for stuff when you think you found something.
It is.
But this is not just in property. I think this lesson from property applies to other things in life.
It does. Like, the way I look at it is you have to have things in the pipeline. Do not apply this to your relationships.
Well, in some ways I think it does apply to relationships.
You're a player now.
Well, it depends what stage you've got to. Obviously, if you're in a relationship, it can't apply. But if you're before you're in a relationship, then it can. You shouldn't get too obsessed with one person before you're actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah. maybe I should have stuck to that advice myself, actually. I fell...
Well, it worked out for you, though.
Head over heels, really, with
Yeah.
Rosie. Yeah,
You
it
were
worked out.
lucky.
It worked out I fell in love with her the moment I seen her. I just couldn't tell her. I was too afraid to. Until I thought I was going to lose her. And I was like, made my move. I'm glad I did. But back to the property side, with leads and things like that, you need to think, who normally gets these leads? Who normally gets these deals? Well, agents, right? And deal sourcers. How do they find their clients? Well, they're going to go old-fashioned. They're going to go online. They're going to do everything. Email campaigns. I don't like email campaigns, but they work. I've got a deal from that way as well. Letters works. Facebook ads, Rightmove, every single way you can think about it. Knocking on doors, putting posters out, referral schemes. Do you know someone who wants to sell their home? On every successful home we sell, you get X. I've done that with my hotel in Blackpool. I've had so many leads come in. There's one I need to double check with. Since I've been in Dubai, I haven't had a chance to follow up with these clients that want to stay in the hotel, but I need to check. But yeah, so it's like having an open pipeline. Even using AI. I used AI the other day and I got just under 500 leads after just searching on AI. And that was for hotels.
So what sort of leads are that? Like companies that might be looking for accommodation, hotel
Buy,
deals?
lease,
Just
anything.
sort of people also keep on yourself.
Yes,
You're not
whatever
looking,
it is.
Yeah. You're not looking to fill the hotels. You're looking to actual more hotel deals.
Yeah, get more opportunities. And you need to understand is, what exactly am I looking for? What exactly is people in the academy looking for? What are people outside the academy looking for? What are investors looking for? Well, they're looking for money back within a year in a hotel, or rent 6 months, or whatever it is, a lease option, vendor finance, whatever it is. So in that case, that's great. Now, what do people who have hotels look for? Well, they want the money out, they want security, they want to know you're not just going to run away if you do a lease option, all these things. So the only way to do it is actually be transparent with people from the get-go. And so, for example, I'll put in a list for what type of opportunities I want. Step 1, no chains. I'll go for any size hotel within a certain area. So I'll circle out where area I want. I'll then go even ChatGPT or any AI. I'll say, give me hotel names, numbers, emails, and addresses within this postcode that fits this criteria. Then it'll search. Some of the info would be wrong. Normally I found the numbers are wrong, or the names are slightly wrong. So then I'll just Google it, see that name, change the number, call it, email it. And from that, I called 30 people out of that 500 list. In one day, I couldn't call them all. And I think out of that, there was like, those three yeses, there was about maybe 18 that didn't answer, and the rest were like, I think 3 no's, and the rest were just like maybes. Oh, you know what, maybe we've got this one here, I just need to double check. And then I say, okay, that's
So hang on,
absolutely
they
fine.
were agents?
No, direct to vendor.
Direct to vendor.
Because they have the number online. Can I not just call them and see if they're ever going to sell or lease the hotel? Just say you go into the area.
So they're like little guest houses and all
Yeah,
that,
guest
that's-
houses, like the biggest hotel I've looked at is a 94 bed.
94 bed.
And I went and viewed it with another academy member. I even was getting the finance ready for it as well. I then got the finance ready, but then I had a down moment. And the deal slipped because I had a down moment. Sometimes it can affect your business. It affects my business sometimes. And that would have been, I would actually took on that hotel if I didn't have that down moment.
So you were saying though that being on the academy has helped with that.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
Are you like, is it bipolar?
I don't,
or have you not been?
I don't think it's bipolar. I hope not. I think, for example, it could just be a chain of events, like something going wrong, maybe not even eating properly. Sometimes I forget to eat, and then all of a sudden I just like, it could be that even. So, my metabolism is so fast that there's times I forget to eat, and then all of a sudden I feel so tired. Like I'll probably have to eat like 3 or 4 meals a
what
day.
you're describing, I think affects everyone.
Yeah.
But it does seem like you've got you're more sensitive to it.
Yeah.
So maybe you have got some form of.
Maybe I might have to get it checked out.
No, but because it sounds like you're working through. You found ways to control it naturally.
I'm still
which is
learning.
probably better than medication.
Yeah, I'm still learning. Like even Ashley Highland. Before I came up to this podcast, I've just come back from a big, massive developer's office. I was very excited with the news, but then I was also nervous about the podcast. So I was walking back and forth. She said, Tommy, come here, stand still. And we did breathing exercises and stretches. And then all of a sudden, I was so relaxed, I almost fell asleep.
I'm glad you didn't.
Missed the appointment straight away.
Yeah. So what was it like then before you had the academy? Was it hard? Did you go through harder times then?
You could say that. Like, I mean, I couldn't really... I mean, it's not really much of a difference. I mean, now it's like more on a bigger scale. Like, I'm getting more... There's big chunks of money, where before I'd be working really hard. I'll maybe get 4 hours sleep.
So back then, before you joined the academy, were you just mostly working your locksmith business?
Locksmith business. I did a lot of things.
Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I still do that, but I'm trying to walk away from it.
But keep it, but systemize it so it doesn't
I'm trying to work out, like, the 3 things I'm working on is systemization, marketing, and following up. Because those 3 things right now seems like I'm lacking. And that's why the inconsistency with my business is happening. So for example, marketing, I'll do really well 1 month because I've marketed. Hence why I sold a bunch of deals in 1 month. But then I didn't market a month after. And then following up, keeping relationships with people. So for example, me and people would be talking, but then all of a sudden I don't follow up with them, or I don't follow up with deals. It costs me relationships, it costs me deals. Like for example, the hotel that I told you about, it cost me that. And then systemization, if I had systemization of all of that, I wouldn't need to worry about the other 2 really if I did it the right way.
So you said marketing, systemization, and following up.
Yes, they're my 3 things I'm lacking right now. Of course, I'm working on them actively, but I need to find a better way because right now it's not quite working. Again, it's like I need to work on that myself because I don't do it enough. And then all of a sudden, let's say I noticed something recently. So there's new academy members, and most of them don't know me because I haven't been marketing. There's always a new influx of people coming in. There's always, let's say, even marketing when it comes to doing business for, let's say, big developers or hotels. If you don't market yourself, they don't know who you are, so you have no credibility built. And with investors, there's no credibility built, so you're starting from scratch every single time.
We kind of feel like we've put our message out there, so everyone must know it. Yeah. But actually, there's so many people out there, you can't assume that just because you've said something, everyone's heard it. Yeah. Even if they have heard it, they may not have taken it in. And I find myself repeating myself on the podcast sometimes, telling the same stories to different guests that they haven't heard it, but the audience might have done. But no, I shouldn't assume that everyone watches every episode because I'm sure people dip in, dip out, and so it's fine to repeat myself.
Yeah, everyone has their own preference as well, but there's times like you should be every once in a while like repeating yourself in some cases. So for example, in a conversation sometimes, not too much repeating yourself, but more like sometimes you say something, you talk about something and you come back to the original thing. Yeah. Like with sales, you talk about the product, then you go, like you move your way to closing them, you like all the process in between. And then sometimes when they say, I don't know about it, then you bring them back to that part there and then go back to sales. Yeah. Repeat yourself.
Wolf of Wall Street stuff, right?
So
Straight line.
I don't know what it is, but essentially it must be that. Maybe I heard it from someone else.
Yeah. Did you go to the Jordan Belfort thing?
I went to his dinner.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I went to the dinner, yes. Yeah. I met some very successful people in there. It was worth every single penny. Yeah. And I got some mindset coaching in there as well from billionaires, millionaires, people that I looked up to.
Yeah. I saw that Mark Tilbury was there. Did you get to meet Mark?
Yeah, I had a one-to-one conversation with him.
Nice. I'd love to meet him. He's such a great guy.
He's very tall.
Is he?
He's very tall. He's not like how he is on camera. I thought he'd be like a normal size like me. How are you keeping? Nice to meet you. He's a very, very nice man.
Because he sort of started kicking off on social media and stuff about the time I was trying out my previous incarnation of what became this podcast, which was a YouTube channel about investing, and it was actually sort of about FIRE. Have you heard of the Financial Independence Retire Early?
No.
It's a movement of people sort of investing. Say it's for people who want to have a normal job. They don't want to do what we're doing, which is a bit more risky, but involved, but so if you have a normal job, you sort of live as frugally as possible, take your excess money, put it in an index fund, And that will grow and compound. And eventually you'll hit a point where you could take out enough money to live on indefinitely, because it should keep going up by like 10% a year. That's basically the idea of FIRE. And I thought, that's cool. I was sort of following that for a bit. But it was very America focused. So I was trying to create a kind of UK FIRE thing. But then I realized FIRE didn't really work because it involves, or wasn't for me, because it involves being very frugal and not enjoying life all the way up to till you die. Because yeah, you can retire early, but you have to retire on an income that is quite small. And that's when I came up with my sort of 4 phases of wealth that I talked about earlier in the early days of the podcast. So that would be phase 2, where you're investing in things. And then phase 3 is like what we're doing, where you're taking on more risk, but we're mitigating it by investing in ourselves and our own education.
I mean, I wouldn't call it more risk. For me, if you're thinking of things like more risk, you're less likely to do it. I'm looking at deals that I haven't got a single penny to put it on. And again, some people say that's scary, like you shouldn't be doing it. But you look at the upside and look at the potential, and then you minimize the risk.
Yeah. But you've invested in yourself.
Yeah, of course.
And with no guarantee of any return.
No, there was, at that time there, I did not know Samuel. I mean, okay, Samuel's probably going to find this funny. Before I went to the crash course, like the crash course wasn't available. I booked it and I was like, oh, damn, I missed this month. Okay, I'm going to go next month. So I went on to a different training course for time being, 2-day course, not going to name the names. And I learned a few things. I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's amazing. And then after learning those things, like about SaaS pensions and things like that, I was a bit more skeptical of Samuel.
Right.
So I went to the crash course. And the first day of going there, I pop on the mic, I start asking questions, thinking he's not going to answer this, no way. Not only did he answer it, he made me look like a proper idiot. Like it made it sound so simple. I was like, okay, why did I even do this? But I wasn't trying to catch him out. I was trying to see if he actually knew what he's talking about, essentially to the point, well, maybe that sounds worse. I was trying to double check, like, I don't even know what I was doing actually. I was more like just testing the water to see if he actually knew what he was talking about.
He does have this habit. I don't know. Like, do you remember the other day, because we were in Dubai on a training thing, we had a morning with Samuel in a sort of group session, and he picked on me a bit and made me look a bit like an idiot in front of everyone.
I think he loves confrontation because it's always a good joke, but also
it gets to the point he doesn't like to waste time.
Exactly. But then again, like when you get to that level as well, I can imagine every single second is so valuable.
And you can tell sometimes when he's up on stage and he's asking someone a question, so what's your goals? And they're like umming and ahhing and they don't know. You can tell he's getting really frustrated.
Yeah, so why are you here if you don't know why you're here?
Yeah. I should be able to describe what I want.
It's like, for example,
but I can't. So it's hard, even though I have thought about it. It's just when he puts you on the moment on the spot like that, it's hard.
Do you know what helps me with that? Where do I want to be? Okay, great. What would my lavish lifestyle look like? My dream life. Okay, great. What do I need to do to get there?
Exactly. That's why we need to know, because then we can reverse engineer it and break it down into know what our next steps are.
Yeah. For example, Samuel, he's living in a luxury house right now. My goals is to live in a luxury house as well, and have something similar, or if not, maybe less, maybe more. I don't know just yet. Right now, I just want to have a luxury lifestyle. Okay, what does that look like to me, money-wise? What money do I need? Okay, great. How much money do I want to be making? Okay, how much time do I want to be putting in the business? I still want to put time in the business. I don't want to walk away from it, but I don't want to be the guy that's doing all the work. Okay, in order to do that, let's back engineer it. Okay, great. Let's say I want to make, I don't know, let's say 50 grand a month, which is my goal on 50 grand on an average a month is my goal for this year. I want to make my way to it, or at least get to that point by the end of the year. Now, in order for me to do that, I back engineer it and say, what do I do? Take on hotels, sell hotels. If I sell hotels, how many do I have to sell a month? How many hotels do I have to take on? What do I have to do in that meantime? All that stuff. And then from there, I say, how do I get the hotels? Lead generation, how many leads, how many calls, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's where it comes in. So, for example, for goal-wise, I want to live out here in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't realize it before coming out here. I want to live out here in Dubai. Because even if it gets hot in the summer, okay, great. I'll live out here in the winter and then go in somewhere else for the summer.
Yeah.
But I would love to live out here because you have every amenity to do everything like in a lovely way. So, for example, like in this hotel where I'm getting like room service, I'm getting my breakfast and lunch and dinner delivered to my front door, and it costs me less than it does in the UK. So the value for money for me was great, where some people were just spending a lot of money in restaurants and bars. On the way out money, a lot of money. For me, I just got meal preps done, right, they were like ready to go.
Yeah, it's all about a kind of abundance mindset where, you know, a poor people or a poverty mindset will make you want to spend time to save money, whereas an abundance mindset will make you spend money to save time, because you know that time is more valuable. So, yeah, that's what you're doing.
Well, I'm learning how to delegate and minimize risk as I scale. And the only way I see that is being able to ask for help rather than just dwell on it.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of people in and out of the academy who they dwell on these issues that they can't control, where they can just like simply write it down, list 1, 2, and 3 priorities. Okay, what's
things
priority?
they can control.
Things you can control, things you can't, things would be better to get someone else to do. And before you know it, you're taking little bite sizes out of it to get it done.
Yeah.
Just simplify things. Like, people saying, I don't know how to stack a certain deal. Okay, fine. Break it down. What do you need to do? Find out.
Talk to someone who does.
Speak to someone who does. Exactly. Yeah. For example, in Dubai, you need a broker license. You need all these things to sell. Well, in the UK, you don't. But why don't I just work with someone who already has a license? And then we just break the fee 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, for example, why not? So if they're asking for a broker license, could they not send the money to my deal sourcing company in the UK? Of course, I'm working out the regulations right now, so I need to double check. And also fix it if I'm doing it wrong, which I will check with the mentors. Yeah. But again, I showed them all my like credibility in the academy. So they said, no, you need a license, you need this, you need that. I showed them my certificate of deal sourcing in the UK, showed them all that, showed them like my background, social media. And they said, yeah, that's fine. Here you are.
Well, they give you a license?
No, they didn't give me a license, but they approved me to be one of their brokers.
Oh, so you're under their license?
I'm under their license right now.
Cool.
But also, technically, I'm going to apply for a license anyway to make sure I'm covered. Yeah. But this is just a temporary thing, just to build a connection. So now I've met 5. Just learning about the market now. I'm currently learning. Like, for example, the hotels, I was learning about the market. I brought someone in who has 10 years hotel experience to go and check projects for me. He now views them for me.
Here in Dubai?
No, back in the UK. Yeah. So he'll view the properties. Yeah. Like, he has 10 years experience in a certain market. I'm sorry, but I can't exactly learn that overnight.
No. And this is good. Yeah. So and when you free yourself up like that, if you inject yourself and say, I'm going to do this stuff myself, you can't. The job can't be done better than you can do it. Well, whereas when you outsource, you can get someone better than you.
Yeah. And also, I don't pay him a single penny unless the deal goes ahead. So I've limited my risk. Deal goes ahead. He's working his commission. But it also saves me spending unnecessary money if the deal doesn't go ahead. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But like, it's the same with the podcast. I used to do everything myself. Yeah. And I had a spreadsheet with a number of jobs on. Guess how many jobs for each episode I had? It was very granular.
I don't know, maybe 10?
600. Because
600. Like, he's doing this for you. You better watch the videos.
But it included making 28 shorts per episode, and finding a song or music for each one of those shorts. Yeah. Editing them and then uploading them, and each one of those things was a separate job because it was just good to kind of tick things off on a regular basis because it helps you keep you going. But I realised a lot of that stuff doesn't make that much difference, so I've really simplified it. I'm also now working with another person so I've outsourced a lot of it. I've got it down to 20 jobs that I do, Obviously, a lot more of the jobs are still being done, just not by me.
Have you tried replacing yourself again?
Well, that would mean one of those jobs is me sitting here talking to you, which I like doing.
Of course, that bit there.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the background stuff. Like, for example, with the hotel stuff, I replaced myself with that guy with 10 years of hotel experience. Is there anything else you can outsource possibly?
Possibly. Although something that's not on there is finding the guests. But being part of the academy, just meet people that I want to interview. But I do want to get out of that, broaden the scope, broaden the and not just be about property, be about other types of investing and bring in more about mindset and things. So the podcast is at a point now where it's about to explode and. In viewers, we've gone weekly now because I've got this new guy helping me. He's amazing. Shout out to Eric. And he's I've been making content for a long time, but and he's probably since before he was born, because he's quite young.
How old is Eric?
He is he's probably 19 or 20. But he's got his own podcast agency.
Wow.
He's got quite a few clients.
Fair play to you,
And he's
Eric.
when I met him, I just thought, I can sense a genius here.
Okay.
And which is why I agreed to start working with him. And it's been good. We've grown, we started getting more and more views on the shorts and stuff. We were doing fewer shorts, but they were getting more views.
Okay.
So,
let me ask you a question. Before you hired Eric, now this is for the younger viewers, what did you think about him being 19? What was your first impression?
Well, it was, I mean, because I get a lot of people contact me on LinkedIn and stuff saying, or even Instagram and stuff saying, can I edit your videos and stuff? Most of the time I ignore them. I can't remember why I responded to Eric. But when we got into a conversation, I could tell he was smart and he knew what he was talking about.
Okay.
And I wanted to give him a chance. And it's partly because it's a reversible decision. It's not like I was, okay, I'll give him a go for a month, see how it goes.
Okay. Let me rephrase it, if that's all right.
Because I know what you're getting at here. Because there's young people out there that think that they're not valuable because they're young. When actually, but with him, it was like, this is a young person's game. I've been a content creator for a long time, but things have changed so much. Now there's like, TikTok and Instagram Reels and Shorts and all that stuff we didn't have that when I was on YouTube in 2007, when I was an old school original YouTuber, So that experience is not, yes, it's cool. And I've been doing that stuff for a long time, since the beginning of it. I was a content creator before being a content creator was a thing. I called myself a filmmaker back then. But things have changed. And so I feel like it's a young person's game now. And so I feel like he knows this better than I do. Mm-hmm. So, and this is what I was getting at earlier about if I insist on doing it all myself to save a few pennies, it can only be done as good as me. Whereas now it's being done better. Yeah. And it's because he's young that he's doing it better than me.
Did you like the fact that you were giving a young kid a try, and the fact he was actually trying hard, he's working hard, and he's trying to prove a point and trying to make a living and make a name for himself? Would that be another thing?
I do really respect what he's doing. It's incredible.
Because most young people, as you said, they're always thinking the negative. I'm only 19, I'm only 16, or whatever it is. Yeah. Instead of saying, I'm 19, I'm doing this, I'm working hard, and I'm going to work hard for you. Yeah. I'll do my best for you.
They don't see it as a selling point.
See it as
to me, it is a selling point, but that's because of the industry. It is, like I said, it is a young person's thing. So in other things, it'd be a bit different. But yeah, I mean, we both know young people like Kane and Rosie, who are smashing it, and maybe seeing their youth as an asset and a selling point.
And also their drive.
I remember when I was 20, or when I was younger, I had a huge amount of drive for wanting to be a filmmaker. Unfortunately, that's such a super difficult thing that it was kind of wasted, I think. Whereas if I'd had that drive for property back then, I'd be a billionaire by now, probably.
Well, look, what you should always do, no matter what your age is, no matter what, is just saying, what's my ultimate selling point? Like, go back to sales. What's my ultimate selling point? How can I best help someone get there? And okay, great, I can help someone.
You mean, how are you valuable?
How am I valuable? Exactly. Yes. And that's how I make my sales. I don't think about, I want that money, I want the money, I want the money. I want to go, how can I help someone, but also help myself at the same time, make it a win-win?
Yeah.
Same way, like Samuel says, you need to make it a win-win. And like I said, that 19-year-old, he was willing to help you, with your content. And you, in return, were saying, you know what, he's 19, I see he's hardworking, just give him a chance.
I also liked his KPIs. My previous editors, the KPIs, the key performance indicator, was like to make a certain amount of content and then deliver it to me to upload and do stuff. Whereas he's taking on, his KPI is to grow the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't care how many episodes we do or how many shorts or reels he does. He's just being judged on growing the podcast. So it simplifies things, and that at the end of the day, that's the goal. And how we get there doesn't really matter. So it gives him the freedom to experiment. It means I can just focus on what I need to do, which is record more episodes.
So essentially, you get more tunnel vision for your goal to get more episodes.
I'd call it focus.
Focus.
Yeah.
We'll rephrase it, focus. And you have him in the background sorting out the things that normally would take a lot of your time and limit your growth as well. So now you're able to grow like anything. Any business, you need to be able to grow, right?
Yeah, so no, I really feel like now we've got the room to grow. It was unsustainable what I was doing before.
Yeah.
And this is why when we went to that ACPP training course with Samuel, when I said, I'm not sure I should keep doing the podcast anymore because it's taking so much of my time. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, you really should. It's good. And that's then forced me to sort of find a way to systemize it better, which is what I feel I've done now. Talking
about a mindset, your mindset must be strong as well, because like you've gone to a point where you've said, I don't want to do this anymore. Now to the point where I want to keep going. I want to make this better. I want to see how I can help my viewers, like bring the best guests. Like for example, how can I provide the best value? And that's why people can imagine go on this podcast. Yeah. And same as anything really. I think values are such a massive thing. As I've been getting more into mindset and stuff, value perception is something that keeps coming up. Yeah. And so back last summer, I wasn't appreciating the value of the podcast. And I was thinking about stopping. But so that's changed and helped me to with my why, I suppose. Yeah. And that's what's pulling me forward now. And it's helped me systemize it. And so now we're really going up a gear. Things are going to get a lot better. But I think that one of the ways to see, I think this is really, really key about value, is like I keep saying this, and I was saying earlier about repeating myself on the podcast. This is one of the things I keep saying. So sorry if you've heard this before, but we don't appreciate our own value. Maybe I've already said it in this episode. We don't. What's ordinary to us, because what's ordinary to us is by definition extraordinary to other people. It's just the first time you said it on this podcast, but I have heard the saying before. Right. So that's a shame because I thought I came up with that. But anyway, I think it's true. And so how do we? So I keep encouraging people to put themselves out there. Do public speaking if you can on small. I mean, and in the academy, this is one of the great things, we have the opportunity to do that. But don't feel you need to get to a level, because you can talk about your challenges, you can talk about your failures, and those are valuable. Yeah, exactly. There's value in that. Yeah. And you never know what someone's going to come to you and say afterwards. This really inspired me. I did a talk about. I'm doing a talk at the moment about things I've done in the past and how it's all led to this. And there was a guy at the first talk I did, and I got nothing to teach him about business and property. He's doing $1 billion deals. But he said,
he came to me and said, "Oh, your talk really inspired me, and it made me think I need to get out there more and do more podcasts and stuff like that." So
yeah, make sure you don't get too comfortable. Like if he's in billion dollar deals, he might get too comfortable and then realize, wow, you know what? Maybe I just keep going. You never know what, like, people that we look up to, they can go through their own phase as well. There are downs and there are ups. People judging them because they're in the spotlight. Again, it's like, for example, when you've seen a girl, you can't put her on a pedestal because then it's like, it's not really going to help you in any way. Like these billionaires, millionaires, they're just normal people. Treat them like a normal person. They'll appreciate that. Like, again, like he came to you and said, "This is very inspiring." You didn't think that would be inspiring to someone his level, but again, you never know how that can help someone. Like,
you never know. And even though part of my talk was saying, put yourself out there, and you see value. Because I tell a story about when I used to have my English teaching YouTube channel, and I was just learning the stuff I was putting in the videos for the first time to make the video. But then I had people saying, "I've got a degree in phonetics, or I've got a degree in linguistics, and I've learned more from your video than I did in my whole degree." And I was like, whoa, so just by putting myself out there, I was valuable to these people. And that's what I was talking about. But then in talking about it, I was doing the same thing again. So you not only do you see your own value when you put yourself out there, obviously you put out your best side. I don't talk about how I hit the snooze button and procrastinate, a lot.
that's a common thing, by the way.
But it's normal. But in putting my best side out there, I then now rise to it. And so it's like you're visualizing your best self and then you can step into it. And I think this is super important for developing mindset, right mindset.
I might add on to that as well about mindset. Just people I know who say, "Oh, I haven't got enough money, I haven't got enough time." Like, for example, people saying, "Oh, I can't join the academy, I just haven't got enough money, it's not the right time." Or, for example, "Oh, I can't go into property investing right now," or "I can't go to a trip right now." Do you think I had the money for the hotel? No. Do you think I had the money to go abroad? No, I found the money. I said yes, until sometimes you have to say no. But you always try to find a way. It's always like the can-do mindset. Can I do this?
Good enough deal.
How do I do it?
Someone will invest in it.
Exactly. Like, think about it. There's so much money out there. Like, we're in Dubai right now. You look around. Like, anyone who's been to Dubai or London, for example, you see there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money going in and out of these places. Sometimes you just need to surround yourself around the right people. Like, for example, you're 1 in 5 people that you hang around with. Well, if you're hanging around with billionaires, you're soon enough going to find yourself, you're going to be a billionaire. Hang around crackheads, well, same goes that way too. You just need to think about the can-do method, or the can-do mindset. How can I do this? If I really want it bad enough and I want to change my life and I really want to change the life of my family, how can I do that? So it just comes down to your mindset and, like, what's your drive? What's your reason? For me, it's like, I didn't have enough money to join the academy. I didn't have enough money to do many things. But I found the money. I found the reason. I found the time. Like, for example, I didn't think I could take time off work to go to Dubai. I found time, or I found someone to do the work for me. It's just all about you and your mindset and the people you're surrounded with. If you're around negative people, I'm sorry, but you need to find a different group. Because if the people you're hanging around with are blatantly saying, "No, it's not that property. I don't think it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work." No, you shouldn't be doing that.
Negative people.
Why do you think I went to so many networking meetings? I was hanging around with a lot of negative people. And then I was like...
at the networking meetings? Or
no, not
you
around.
You went to them to get away from the negative people? Yeah.
Like, you just need to surround yourself with successful people, or people who's going in the same direction as you.
Yes.
You get me?
On the same wavelength.
On the same wavelength.
And this is what the moment I stepped into the crash course, was that I sensed that I was in a room with people that think like me, which at the time, I didn't think there were people like me, So it was like coming home.
Well, you enjoyed the vibe, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, for example, I didn't think there's people that are multi-billionaires. Yeah, I come over here and it's like, "Oh, that's just normal."
Yeah.
That's just normal. It's like, what? It was mind-boggling coming over here. Hence why I was so excited on the yacht trip. I was talking about certain developers because I was so excited, just found out new things. but I'm working on due diligence now. I've gone but for the, it could be this, that's amazing. Now I'm going back thinking, okay, now let's check.
Yeah, I mean, there's a land of opportunity here, but there's also a lot of people being very pushy,
very
saturated, very scammy. There's a lot of scams. I'm not jumping into anything.
Yeah, you need to look at the vision. Great, that's amazing, which I was yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I'm going, okay, that's amazing. Is it realistic? Okay, let's check all the way down. Using mentors, using people who's experts in the areas that I'm investing in. Like, for example, hotels, someone with 10 years experience. For example, mentors, Sue, I'll call, or Igor, or Tim, Steve Bench, I'll call them.
These are all mentors that we have access to. One of them's an architect, one's an accountant, and we've got access to these people.
I can add on actually about them. The accountant manages a hotel. And he uses he uses the same software as what my hotel uses.
Right.
So it really does help. Like the channel manager uses the exact same one. So I got some insight there. One of them has a lot of experience in like hotels as well, Sue. So that's Tim and Sue together. You got Igor, who's just taken on a hotel.
And he's an architect.
And he's an architect. You got Steve Bench, who
and as an architect, he used to work on really big posh hotels.
Yeah.
But doing the design and stuff. Now he does smaller ones, but he owns them himself.
Yeah. So like Steve Bench again, for example, I think he's a newer mentor, but he has a lot of experience in property. He used to be a broker as well. So he knows a lot about business. He knows a lot about property. Simon, another one, knows a lot about business, knows a lot about property. He's an estate agent. He also manages a hotel.
Yeah.
You need to surround yourself with people who are experts in their field.
Yeah.
And has the right mindset. And if you can do that, like let's say you don't know anything. You don't know anything, let's say about, I don't know. But I'm going to try not to say property, try and think of something else other than property. So for example, boxing. Okay, we'll go with boxing. If you're a complete newbie to boxing, but then you hang around all these professionals, you're bound to pick up a tip or two, or two here or there.
Of course.
Or a black eye.
Well, both, they come together.
You just need to surround yourself with people that are actively doing things in that market or whatever you're planning on doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And then it rubs off on you. And it's so great to have that access to those, the amount of knowledge and experience. It's not just about courses.
It's not all about courses, no.
But that's what you hear people say. But anyway, I don't want to make this. Yeah, obviously we've been talking a lot about Samuel Leeds Academy. We're here in Dubai with Samuel. We've been through a training program. If you're interested in that, there's a link in the description to a webinar with Samuel, and there's also a link to the Inner Circles, which are the local events in the UK that you can go to as a guest if you're interested to meet some people face to face, if you're interested in property investing. I think there'll also be a school community link, which is my thing related to the podcast about developing a self-unemployed mindset, which, mindset I've started to realize over the last year or so that is so important.
Yeah.
So
I also want to add on to that. You run the Oxford Inner Circle.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, if you want to go meet Colin, go down to the Oxford Inner Circle. I run the High Wycombe one at this present moment. And
I'm also talking at a lot of Inner Circles over the next few months. So yeah. Okay, Tommy. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. For
It's been great to. Thank you. No, really, thank you for opening up, because I think we saw a different side of you that most people don't see today. So I really appreciate you.
Anytime.
Doing that for me. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Okay. Right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. And I really hope you found this episode helpful. If you have, and you haven't already, make sure you click subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and let us know what you think in the comments so that I can keep bringing you interesting and valuable information through the amazing guests that I am having on the show. Also, as I was saying earlier, more importantly than that, join the mailing list, because YouTube isn't optimized to give you value, it's optimized to distract you. But I think that the content I'm trying to give you is more valuable, and I'm trying to help you build that wealth mindset. So if that is something that interests to you, don't rely on YouTube and Google to notify you. Join the mailing list and you'll just get an email every now and then when there's a new episode available. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.